to close out their map, and they struggled to do so. And I think morally speaking, they might be in a bit of a tough spot, right? Where they, you know, as I mentioned, the morale pretty low and the confidence is not quite there. A pistol round though could revitalize it.
Yes, and Finest being on that CT side is going to get pretty dicey. ECSTATIC need the round win to set themselves up on the right foot, but already Twist to find the opener, and Flash is only going the way of Finest, putting themselves in a pretty unrecoverable 4-on-5 until ECSTATIC, they blow up towards B. It's 4 kills across the board as the Glocks close the gap, and the Glocks will close out the round. It is one man to do all. Shots against 4, and that is some of the ECSTATIC magic out of map 1, sprinkled and dusted, coating the ancient map here, because my oh my, what a turnaround. That is a definitive round. Dafu with a triple, Zello a double, and ECSTATIC with their first.
Only one person falling as well. I mean, for ECSTATIC, a nigh on flawless round, and that's the confidence they needed to kickstart their map pick. On the T side, a side that historically is so difficult to find momentum on, that is the dream start. The bomb plant kills in their favor means that the economy, oh too fruitful for the ECSTATIC side, who are now looking oh so good. And over towards finals, they have to find something special with the pistols, and that's not a bad start.
Yeah, Kriaz finding the early advantage. Nate's not doing much either. Spam, oh my word, through the smoke. But from Sky, low HP. As this does become quite the factor now for ECSTATIC to get back into this round. Finest have themselves a very healthy HP lead, and I'm wondering if that will continue and if that will stay and develop even further. ECSTATIC for now, 1 minute and 10 to go. Still plenty of time here. Ooh, cheeky smoke lined up from Sky, launching it towards A. Pleasant to pluck him out with a deagle. That 2-man lead could go to give Finest an opportunity in this round. Shocks. Deagle can't connect to a second, but one might be enough. Zello to take a fight with Pleasant. Both players trading a heavy amount of lead. Bomb set down. Deagle continuing to miss. And actually, they will squeeze themselves out. A pretty promising situation here, the T side. Both players taking tag damage. Dafu out of the round. And it's a Zello 1-on-4, low HP, and it is not meant to be. Finest crack open the shell of Ancient. The force by response.
But how? How have they even got to that stage? It never should happen. With just those sort of pistols, ECSTATIC, all they have to do is hold W. Just go aggressive somewhere towards the site. We know with the kind of changes that were made towards the deal, which is basically all that Finest were going to be able to pick up into that sort of round, that spamming doesn't work anymore. Body spams don't work. It has to be precise headshots. Just overwhelm the Deagles. But no, one by one, they walk in towards the crosshairs of the CT side, and they pay the price for it. With Tidal Square, one apiece, and Finest, a really nice round for them to turn in their favor. But for ECSTATIC, it's not that Finest won it, it's ECSTATIC lost it.
Yeah, as you said, all well and good that they can convert that round, but ECSTATIC should never be in this position in the first place. It's not ideal to see, and I guess back to the chalkboard, right? It's Deagles, it's Tech9s, it's an investment made by the ECSTATIC boys, but they're going to be looking for a chance into this round once more. Following, of course, the molly there, deep towards B, containing the ECSTATIC side, and the nades only adding to the little lead that Finest won.
Well, as we stand, it's a oh so slow affair for ECSTATIC. The firepower not too good over in that camp, but I'm not going to count it out because Finest did there a very good job in the round prior of converting, and comfortably at that, in the round prior to tie this game back up. But yeah, oh so slow. For ECSTATIC, the priority surely just getting the bomb down.
Yeah, just money. That's the problem, right? That was always the problem. That molly dropped in towards site. All the util in the world pulled towards B, forcing the players into cave, and I like this. They're going for the mow down though. Kriaz, 1, 2, nearly a third with the Galil. The 5 extra bullets making all the difference in this round. Fasher, he will get the reload off. Dafu will get the bomb down as well. So your wish is there, Commandy, as they do squeeze out the extra $800 per player. Now it's time to see if it's fight or flight for the ECSTATIC boys in the post plant. First kill going in their way. Fasher will pick up the first. Dafu, dink, and down goes Pleasant. And a third kill could be on the cards because Twist is caught in the corner, and it's a Shocks 1-on-3. And while he has found the high HP player, there's still 2 more to go. And in such wind-up positions, he's going to have to go hunting. And he clears the corner, but not deep enough. He thinks Zello is there. He will go check in once more. And Shocks, He's got a kit. It's a 5-second stick. Will the Mac-10 spot it? No. The back out, though. Spam going down, but it's just not enough time. Dafu can't get it done. All 5 kills, but not the round. ECSTATIC concede a second.
Another sort of round where potentially they should have been able to convert that one, and unfortunately, they don't. But what you have to consider is the investment that was brought forward from ECSTATIC there was realistically not too much. It was as much as they could afford to bring into it, but it was only really upgraded pistols, bit of utility. So for them to find a bomb plant, 4 out of 5, well, 5 out of 5 kills technically, and 1, you know, being the diffuser, I mean, it's a silver lining in a bad situation, but for ECSTATIC, they can really take some positives from that third round of play there. And we see a quick pause coming in here, and I think for both of these two sides, this game so far on a bit of a nice edge, similar to the end of map number 1.
Yes, and with a little of a lull heading into round 4. ECSTATIC taking the time to think about what they want to do, and it is an investment made by them. Ancient, you can get away with things like this. We saw in the last round how gimmicky their play was, yet it still worked. Well, here we go. Round 4, an opportunity for ECSTATIC to tie the game, but the M4 from Shox doing decent damage. Max and Bird from Sky getting caught in the spray as well. Max actually taking a bit of lead from Bird from Sky. Nade's going to be tossed in as well. Bomb plant not going to be denied, but they do find that man advantage in the aftermath. And so for Finest, they've got the weapon advantage, and they've got the opportunity as well, tapping away. Kriaz doesn't want to kill his teammate, unfortunately. Twist will find the kill anyway. Zello to get the trade, 2-on-3 scenario. Pleasant leaping through the monster, or rather the donut smoke. And the tap down for the MP9 shall be enough. A 1-on-3 hit for Fasher. His Deagle needs to go huge, and while he has found a first, there are a couple more to go. Dinked up, low HP, USP pulled in, and Arquez has it covered. A kit to give enough time to defuse, and it's Finest up to 3. But another close round, Neo.
Another close round, but again, probably a situation where you'd hope for just a little bit more from ECSTATIC. When they were set up in that post plant, they overextended ever so slightly and gave too much of an opening to Finest and left Fasher all alone. Which, granted, actually was more doable than you'd think in a 1 versus 3 because of the low HP, but no, not this time. 3-1 scoreline as Finest start to build it ever so slightly, but a full buy coming out for the T side, but it's as much of a full buy as they can muster. Realistically, you know, that's that AK and Galil's.
And another force buy, as you said. It does come to a little bit of a surprise to me. You know, when do you abandon ship and go, do you know what, it's worth taking the eco? Instead, no, they opt against it. Flashbang goes deep, and Arquez looking for an opportunity to get his team into a 5-on-4. Kriaz actually shooting his teammate through the wall. What on earth just happened? Kriaz will find one. Zello and Bird from Sky with a kill each, and well, I talked about abandoning ship. ECSTATIC believe in the approach, and they might just be rewarded for it. It's a 4-on-2, but 2 players low.
That's a very rookie mistake, isn't it? Not often you see that. You know, spam through the wood to your own teammate. Questionable. An MP9 good for 1. Trade game, though, does benefit the C side, and Dafu makes light work of Shox and an MP9 as he's all down to 1 man. It's Anakas and an AWP to deny, and so much for this big green to do as he's going to just position himself into his front temple.
Yeah, it's going to get a bit tricky. In a 1-on-3 scenario, the AWP isn't ideal for these situations, especially when a couple of these players are very low. He does find one. I think caught Dafu on the jump spot as well. Bird from Sky, patiently waiting. It's actually getting slip here. Flashbang goes a miss, and Arquez another. No way, and Arquez a 1-on-3. A huge misplay from Bird from Sky, and it costs ECSTATIC their second. That was a 2-on-4 scenario, and an Arquez will absolutely put together a masterclass 1-on-3. My, oh my. What have I just witnessed? Another clutch. That's insane round, man. Insane.
I know Zello's is a 1 versus 4, but for me, that one just feels just that little bit better. I mean, that was so well played, and a flick just to seal the deal. Brilliant. Absolutely stunning. And another round where ECSTATIC, it's their fault, isn't it? It's not that, yeah, you know, one individual playing brilliant, but in a 1 versus 3, you have to just overwhelm. You know it's an AWPer. Just running on, he can only shoot once, and he has to pop the reload. The execution just wasn't quite there, and they paid the price for it. But at the very least, not a bad start towards round number 6. Seneca's and the AWP coming alive once again, though.
Yes. A chance for ECSTATIC once more, but we've been in this situation before, Neo, so I'm not one to to be saying that ECSTATIC can draw this one to a close. Finest do have themselves a pretty tricky task ahead of them to close this one out. Nice shot from Shock should make it a little easier. The back burner's in for Finest. Fasher to keep things competitive though, a 3-on-3 scenario. And the big man himself, and Arquez looking for a chance. He just doesn't miss with the AWP. Finally taken down. It's the exploitation. The only downfall of the AWP gives Manx the opportunity to not only bring down the AWP, but to take the entirety of Temple with him. As well, Neo, a 2-on-2 to come from it. Zello has the bomb, but they might not look towards A here. They could turn towards B.
It's auto slow. I mean, both of these two sides, it's more of a guessing game about where each other are coming from. You see kind of Korea's holding Ozo passively, trying to cut off that rotation. But Twist is going to be the real difficult one for me, swinging forward in towards mid. And Korea's falling. That now leaves that B side Baron. And it's a long road to recovery for Twist, who has to flank on the other side of the map. Bomb to go down with 10 seconds left on the clock. Post-spawn to be set up this time. We beg, we are hot for ECSTATIC. Play for the trade in your favor, because you've got the numbers.
Zello's even going for a peek, man. I don't know. What can you teach ECSTATIC here is that just don't go, man. Just wait. Just play your numbers.
Please.
But they do eventually win the round anyway. As you said, our hearts were a little bit there with ECSTATIC. They should have had the last round well and truly done and dusted. But and an Arquez 1-on-3. Bliss Counter-Strike played by him.
Yeah,
just isn't
brilliant.
enough to convert. 6-3 he currently stands. But it is a second on the board here for ECSTATIC. Well, a hard-earned second. 3 deaths. Money not looking too good either. I mean, it's going to be a tough task no matter what.
Well, consolation kill for Twist, though. Does drop out Zello. Only a Galil, not the end of the world. And Mike's not going to test those waters in towards Donut. A second round for ECSTATIC. And a pause called here. And I don't think it's really too bad of a time to call it. Kind of for both sides. Because, yes, you know, ECSTATIC take a round in their favor. Brilliant from them. But still the economy a little bit dicey. Especially kind of Dafu, Bird from Sky, Zello. They can pick themselves up AKs and armor, but it'll be no utility. Or do they go for the Galils? Full armor, bit of utility to support. It's a kind of questionable affair about what they want to do coming in towards this. And you look over towards Finest, for example. The AWP saved across, dropped towards Anakas. No surprises there. But going to be supported by not too much.
Well. Round 7. ECSTATIC, a second round. It's doable. It's really doable here. What do we say the magic number here is on Ancient? I say 5. I think you'll agree with me. 5 rounds is enough.
Yeah. I think Nuke 6, this one 5. Just it's so CT-sided, isn't it?
It is. It really is. You can make things work with 5 rounds. Fasher looking to make it 3 as he corks open the B side. Korea's up close with the CZ, and well, that's a bit of a problem as it's 2 deaths for the T side. Bird from Sky and Zello both gone. And all of a sudden, it's entirely doable here. A 4-on-3. Going to be using all the utility in the world to delay and hinder that CT side retake. There's no kits on the remaining 4. So for Finest, if they want this round, they're going to have to get a move on. And Kriaz, well, he's in a position to capitalize. Maybe catch out the ramp player of Fasher. And if he does so, it really could be a round going the way of Finest. Cheeky little flashbang chucked out by Plessen. Problem is the smoke will give enough room for Fasher to work with. And while Finest just going to be looking to save here. They invested deeply into this round. Their hands went deep into their pockets. If they can just keep their original investment, they'll be more than happy to bring this into round 8. Done and dusted. Manx will find another on the exit, but ECSTATIC to a 3rd.
Once again, it's all down to that post plan, isn't it? I mean, what we see from ECSTATIC is this time, no overextension. They don't really try and hunt for those frags, and it's probably a good thing because we saw the CZ pick up a double to open things up, and it was looking a little bit dicey, a little bit concerning, but no, all good now. 4-3, 1 round in it, but for Finest, again, it's the second part of their double eco. They've got the rifle saved across from the Prime, but that's all they can bring into this.
Yes, it's going to be a difficult one, isn't it? With the ECSTATIC boys the way they are, Finest money the way it is. This could be a tie game, and for momentum's sake, listen, we saw how Overpass works. Anything can change with a flip of a switch, right? So we could see, for all I know, ECSTATIC taking this half 11-4, or Finest winning this entire half, yeah, 12-3. It really is up in the air. Well, my 12-3 statement seems to be one in which there is a realm of possibility. It's the AK of Kriaz to find the 5-on-4.
Numbers in favor of Finest, same as the lead as well. As Kriaz looks to try and double it down, going for a spam through the wood. This time not going to find too much. And they can just post up into his excavation. Double stack there, go for the crossfire, play for the trades again, as we've already mentioned. The real difference maker is going to be in towards that A main. Because look, Shox is ready and waiting.
Nice shot, Shocks. Oh, Shots, good
no.
gods! 3 with the 5-7. Just tap, 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 and he's found all the heads in the world. Bodies dropped to the floor, and with 45 seconds left, bomb in his palm, AK wielded, he's ready and raring, no matter the occasion. Kriaz pushing towards B, might just pick up on the info play here from Fasha. And I'm wondering if he picked up on any steps. If he did, he's a dead man walking, I'll tell you that. All the guns picked up here from the CT side. That's ridiculous. I've never seen a 5-7 do so much.
I said be wary of it, and that's exactly why. And he cleans things up with the AWP. Versatility in the name, versatility in the game. Brilliant. From Shocks there. 3 with the 5-7, 1 with the AWP. The finest to find their 5th. And what a way for them to turn the tide and regain momentum. And if we cast our minds back towards map number 1, Ryan, about kind of the struggles of finest, the big thing was kind of regaining momentum back in their favor, because they were really good when they had it, and when they didn't, they struggled to collect it back in terms of their hands, and Shocks does it individually.
Nail on the head. That's round 9. Subsequent to the loss of ECSTATIC due to a 5-7, they themselves have to claw things back from a pretty harsh buy, and well, so far so good. Fasha opening the kill feed, the 5-on-4, the hero AK, and it's worked out for that advantage.
Just pistols for ECSTATIC to work with, but as we stand, I'll take it. Monk's down 23, Spam coming through, Shocks asked to come alive, he's good for 4, how can he find here? Only 3, nearly dropping Daffro as well, but he survives on 12 points of HP, just about, and that bomb's gonna struggle to go down. The Tech-9 coming in towards another excavation, but Kriaz delivers.
Brilliant round from Shocks. You say only 3, but that's the most important 3K we'll see on Ancient in some time. I mean, sure, the 5-7 goes huge, and you know, they put themselves a very nice round together. Now that round there, if Shocks only found 2, the AK's still alive, it's on the site, that's another gun given up to ECSTATIC. That round quickly goes to the T side, there's no doubt about it. And so, 6-3, Finest continuing their lead, but ECSTATIC, they're not done just yet. They go for another force buy. This team, these guys, they don't want to give up anything. They're not ecoing to save their lives, and well,
that's why.
There you go, Zello, 5-on-4.
It's so risky to pick up an AWP no armor. He's glass cannon. Zello, he loves it. He loves the pressure, and he thrives under it, finding the opening kill. But another round now where ECSTATIC on a middling buy find the opening kill, and they did exactly the same in towards round number 9 and were unable to convert it. So they've taken the first step, but still a way of a climb to come through to be able to find this round.
Well, as time goes on, Neo, it seems to be the outcome going to be going in the way of the Finest side. Yes, ECSTATIC are the man advantage, but utility and weaponry will always be an issue with a force bite. And that's the trade-off that you take, is that, okay, sure, you have the worst weapons, but you have to outsmart your opponent. And, well, speaking of outsmarting, Kriaz just absolutely earning that HP lead. Fasha down to 22, not to mention Zello standing in the molly earlier on to catch off Plesson. A couple of these players manageable here for the M4s, and that gives Finest so much power on the CT side.
Despite them not having that man advantage, they're actually in a very strong position, because they've cut off well, essentially the primary entries in towards certain sites. In comes the utility over towards the A site, causing a rotation as well, and it's a foot race essentially over towards A. Who's going to come out on top with the AWP, caught off guard. Anakin's going to 4 shots, good for 2, but he's traded, leaving it all down to 1. 1 man to deny that a Kriaz. A nice open plant at that with just 15 seconds on the clock. And now walking Kriaz do with an AK-47, and I think what he's going to do is save.
Well, another Shocks heroic in that round. Like, how on earth he gets a double there? Just lining him up, shutting him down. It's a shame you can't find any more. However, at some point you do have to lose a round. It's going to be a 4th on the board here for ECSTATIC, getting back into this game ever so slowly. Piece by piece they solve the puzzle here on Ancient. Kriaz, a 1-tap to the chest, picks up the AK. He'll happily take the upgrade. ECSTATIC themselves know their money's low. They can't afford to risk anymore. And so as the bomb detonates, they're done. They're dusted. Zello goes for the peek. And, well, you'll be taught that lesson, fella. That's the AWP maybe in the hands of Kriaz as well. Yeah, it absolutely is. He's found all the kills after time. Up to 12 himself. Shocks. 15 and 8, though. A masterclass from him.
Yeah, that's expensive and unnecessary to kind of peek through. They would have survived anyway, so they didn't need to try and drop or prioritize dropping a gun in towards mid, but they pay the price for it. Fair play to Kriaz. Finds himself 3 kills, but what is more important is ECSTATIC finding their 4th round. However, they're now left with not too much in terms of a buy, and this is their big problem. But extended in. Look at them now.
Yeah, this is a pretty promising situation to be in. And Arquez, he'll hit the first shot, or Clinical on the angle. Zell at least in for the trade. Looking for another. Yes, of course. Because why not? He's up for a double. Going to be denied of a third. Pleasant has the trade. Kree has another. And Pleasant's double kill. Again, a multi-kill for the finest side. This time, the Swede, and all of a sudden, Manx left alone, 1 on 3, turns into the wall expecting a flash, a dink onto Shocked, but it just isn't enough. It's his 16th kill, a 2 KD, it's round 12, and he's up to 16 frags. A monster performance from Shocked so far.
It's really well played from him once again. 16 and 8, as you mentioned. He is absolutely farming. And this is kind of now where ECSTATIC are starting to feel that pressure, hence why they've called for that attack pause, because things aren't looking too good in that T-side camp. We reiterate as well, this is ECSTATIC's map pick. Yes, they've got finest map under their belt in a 25-23 victory, but it's still not done a fair. Yes, this is their map pick, but it's not being the strongest of performances. But what we do have to re-mention as well is this is so CT-sided, Ryan, that, 4 rounds isn't the worst. We'd hope for at least 5, potentially pushing towards kind of a 9-6 half, for example. But 4 rounds on T-side, I've seen comebacks from 11-4. You speak about Zonic's Law, and I think Ancient's all too prevalent from it.
All right, man. A slog of a map 1. And this map, of course, with a bit of a pause. However, we know how the last game went, Neo. So, a close affair no matter what. Finest 7 rounds on the CT side. However, it is ECSTATIC already at 4. And I'm wondering, is this, a bit of a sign for the future? We know what ECSTATIC are like on the CT side. 4 looking good, considering the half isn't done. I think we need to see a little bit more from them. The magic mollies towards middle early on, Neo. I love them. Pretty cool stuff to see. I wish we had more like cunning utility like that.
Yeah, he's cool.
And it's actually warranted a fast donut push. Look at this, man. They've run right through all the utility. They think this is just going to be a late A play. Surprise, surprise, up close and personal. Bird from Sky patiently waiting with his Mac 10. ECSTATIC will provide some cover with a smoke. That is some serious damage. Oh my word,
wow.
Look at the HP bars. Okay, sure, Fasher to pick up a kill, but 3 of these players low, and it is going to be 1M4 the difference. Manx and Fasher with kills each. A 3-on-3 scenario.
Wait, and potentially a flank coming through as well. The Tech9 finding 1, and Manx just holding down the 4 to drop him back, but Anik is all too aware, all too smart to it. Downhill forward, it's all down to Fasher. All alone, Flash will come through as well, trying to deny his presence. Tap of the bomb as well, not going to stick it though, as Fasher just trying to deny. He's got the line up, but now no longer does. Defuse will come through, and it will be uncontested as 8th round collected, and they win the half.
If I'm honest, I don't know how Finest were given away back into that game. Okay, sure,
Agreed.
As I said, a lot of these players are low. I just think at this point, at this opportunity, it's a round in which you have the bomb, you have close-range weapons. I mean, okay, sure, your HP is low, but surely there's a format in which you can run the trade setups and ECSTATIC can wiggle their way back into this round. Not meant to be. Heading into round 13, as you said, Finest at least guaranteeing themselves some success at half-time, but another force by Hefrix. I couldn't tell you the last time I saw ECSTATIC take an eco, honestly. Like,
is that a
or
thing?
P250s? I don't know. Do they know about it?
Yeah, do ECSTATIC eco? Have money buy. That is the way to do it. And, well, not the way to start things off. Definitely going to fall. Manteli's trade. So, when upgrading the weapons as well is not too shabby of a start. Doesn't need to be careful, though. The AWP poised and ready to try and pick off the first. Molotov will come through, and that'll push that Mac 10 back in towards mid. A bit of a precarious spot to be in, too.
Well, a little peek towards A. Shock's left with a very vacant role right now. ECSTATIC building their forces towards B. And well, a bit of a chill pill taken by ECSTATIC here. A slower approach, waiting till the last minute. Flash going to be dropped in, and a second one as well, just to provide some donut control. And in fact, Manx is going to make all the noise, try and set the tone that it's an A play, but they double back towards B, and Arquez reads into it quite nicely, though. The first kill with the AWP, follows up with a second, misses the flick, but he's got his teammate into assist. Kriaz, he'll find the last, and that's 9-4. ECSTATIC concede another.
Yeah, 9 is what we are standing at for Finest. I said a 9-6 half would be great, but I think it's pretty unlikely now for ECSTATIC. Another attack pause coming through from them, and I don't blame them. I mean, it's so far, the end towards this first half, it's just not been good enough, has it, Ryan?
No. I think for ECSTATIC, they need to pick up the pace a little bit. A lot of these rounds have been close. There's no denying, like, man, there's every chance that they could have made this an 8-7 half in their name. Just the struggle, it seems, on the T side, and we all know that teams struggle. I can completely understand that. I'm not gonna sit here and bash. These guys are much better than me. I can't complain.
For sure.
What I can say though is, I feel like ECSTATIC will know themselves that they could have had a better half. And for Finest, I think they're quite fortunate with the position that they have. Their money's set for the rest of the half. Round 14, it is finally an eco for ECSTATIC. So round 15 will be a bye. So the best they can do realistically is 10-5.
It's concerning, isn't it? Very, very concerning. Unless they're able to pull off an eco, which we question whether they did know what an eco was, and they figured it out. Round number 14, they've started to figure out that potentially saving a bit of money to have a more comfortable buy might work in their favor. Kriaz tempting fate over towards front excavation, but Anarchist with the AWP holding nice and open. He should be in for at least one, and he delivers. Manxor 4 repositioning towards the back area, and he delivers on a second 2.
And Arquez, just perfect, man, playing the smoke beautifully. Kriaz emerges from the pillar. He'll find a double, and that is, I nearly said ECSTATIC up to 10, but no, not the case. Finest have found themselves double digits. And for ECSTATIC now, it is do or die. Round 15, the last of the half, there's an AWP ball in, and their chance to make it 5.
And hopefully they do, because we've spoken about that for a T side of ECSTATIC. 5 is that kind of that golden number we look towards, where we'd hope that's what they can find at least. And the fact that that's the best they can find is already a slight alarm bell, but of course it is T-side ancient, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt so far. But a util damage in towards mid. Pleasant holding, waiting, spotting and delivering as Max will fall.
Very nicely done. Pleasant the opener. And a silent response here for ECSTATIC, meaning that 5-on-4 is pertinent to the success here for Finest. While he's dropped in, anti-util just chucked out. Zello will find one towards middle though. That's Plessin gone. So the man that found the original advantage will be the man to drop the advantage. Kriaz is double, looking for a third. It's the M4 of shots to trade. And there's one man, but one man for the job. A Fasher 1-on-3 required to close out a 5th. And while he has found the first, bomb still yet to be picked up. And he's still going to make a choice on which side he heads towards. One man on A, one man on B. It's whether he wants to face the big man and Arquez towards Donut, or twist the passive angle towards B.
Slow. Oh, so slow in the server. And I think what we're seeing for Fasher is he's just trying to kind of cause a bit of an over-rotation, cause a kind of overextension, and therefore a mistake. Well, you're not going to be giving him. Anarchist is too disciplined as we stand, and he knows just holding in towards Donut is more than enough. It's Twist who has to be cautious. Over towards B side, I mean, so many angles to be cautious of and be careful of, and in towards B, it looks like he's going towards.
Well, time ticking away. Fasher has the jump. Beautiful first. One more to go. Already 2 within the clutch. His 9th in the server so far. He's going to have to make it number 10. As an Arquez jump in towards CT. I'm wondering if that information has been given up. Patiently waiting. Setting the tone. Bomb ticking away. Peeking in. Fasher on the angle. Has it covered. 10-5. It's a 1-on-3 for Fasher to make things work. We go to a break. And ECSTATIC CT side. Can they get things done? We find out after the break.
Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Half number 2s on the cards. 10-5 is where we stand. Now, Ryan, previously we said, hey, 5 might not be, too bad. Might be actually good enough. But for ECSTATIC, it was a little bit of a dicey half, wasn't it? It wasn't quite as comfortable as we had hoped.
I feel like it's very similar to Overpass in the way that actually we could have found ourselves either at a 15-0 or a 0-15, like so many rounds should have gone the other way. There were so many little rounds that probably could have been won by ECSTATIC. Finest definitely getting the better of it. Manx, speaking of, in this round, will get the better of Shocks. He drops the man through the smoke early doors. USP just being cheeky, and the P250 taps from an Arquez setting down the post plant. ECSTATIC themselves going to be tossing out some utility. A smoke in towards Donut and a flashbang from Temple, but it's a great one to help Pleasant. Twist getting all of the assistance in the world right now, and Arquez picking up one with the P250. And ECSTATIC, they're dropping like flies. Dafu to stand his ground to find Pleasant. A second shot and a third from the USPs. And Fasha's got a kit. Kriaz, worst case scenario, does dink up the second as well. Fasha, low HP. He's got a kit. Does he have the time? He keeps on tapping. He keeps trying to take phase. And he will peek in. And Kriaz has him beat. And it's an 11th on the board for Finest. And, well, this is getting interesting.
It is. I mean, this is now starting to kind of ring the doorbell of potentially a map 3. Because Finest, despite statistically not being too good, as we stand on Ancient, they're looking pretty comfortable. I've got to say, this is not kind of... Well, this is probably as well why you can't say everything on paper matters, right? Because for Finest, they're looking actually very comfortable in a map on which statistically and historically they've not been too good on. But so far, so good. It needs to be a real resurgence, though, it has to be said. And it's already a bit of regression from both sides. Shocks going to trade out, but it's Manx to find one more. The numbers back in their favor.
And Arquez has gone deep towards middle, though. And as you can see, flicking back and forth between the angles. He's looking to take presence, looking to take opportunities, and on the top is a little bit wrong. It's ECSTATIC to take map 1. Finest desperately wanting to piece this one together to put themselves back on the board and to take us to a decider, and Arquez doing exactly that. A 3-on-3 set, and ECSTATIC fall right for the trap. They overcommit towards B, and Arquez aggressive. I'm wondering, did Dafu spot him? I don't think so. Back turn, it's an easy double, and Arquez actually only finding a dink onto Manx, but it's a 2-on-2. Well, the trap set here for the retake. Bird from Sky will find one. Shocks does go down. Twist the last man standing. And, well, he will actually find both Finest. They're able to clutch up, and there you have it, 12th on the board.
Oh. I think it's already potentially now getting to a point, Ryan, where I just feel like ECSTATIC aren't feeling too comfortable. It's not looking too good on their own map pick, and we now need to start kind of having conversations about map number 3, because Finest looking comfortable on their T-side as well. This is really not the position they want to be in at all, but of course, you look towards the buy of the CT side. It's mixed, and Manx makes it work nonetheless. Anakin's falling is now an uncomfortable spot for them to be in.
Yeah, very nicely done. A 5-on-4 scenario. Very nicely set here. ECSTATIC looking to play the numbers game in a round that they don't really have much business in winning. I mean, sure, it's a force buy. This is actually a round that they should not be winning at all. It's a second kill that comes in. Mac 10 peppering through the smoke. Look at the HP on Pleasant and Kriaz. 2 and 7. It's 109 HP split between the remaining 3. And for ECSTATIC, this is a real chance to make it 6.
Numbers brought level. But of course, you look over towards both sides, significant damage dealt. Kriaz spotting the information. A risky peek at that, it's safe to say. But Kriaz and Pleasant on a slither of HP for them. They need to be extremely cautious.
Flash going in. Manx finds one. Kriaz's trade. Manx swings in. A second will connect. Looking for the hat trick, and it's a 4K in the round. Very nicely done. ECSTATIC to pick apart Finest on the 4s. A couple of AK saved into the next as well. So impressive, so smart that ECSTATIC don't give up. They go for the retaliation play, and it works out perfectly. Finest, they do have a bye heading into this round, but ECSTATIC 1 round closer to tying the game.
The question is, can they, right? That is the big question. Because, I don't know, for ECSTATIC, it still looked a little bit choppy, a little bit kind of unconfident is one way to put it, and things now have to be also caution the server. 12-6 is where we stand, of course. ECSTATIC with their opponent's map pick, but Finest trying to do exactly the same to push this to the other side of Vertigo is where we will go if we get there. And it's all up to the decisions of ECSTATIC. Once again, mixed bag of buy coming out this time for Finest. We see an AWP in play, an AK-47, but just supported by the upgraded pistols.
Well, Finest taking their time, a minute on the clock, and they're yet to deduct a point of health away from the ECSTATIC side. Same could be said on the other way around. And well, 55 seconds left. That clock continues to burn away. There's only an AWP and an AK in this round as well, supported by the Force by 2 smokes, 2 flashes for the remainder of this round. I feel like it is going to be pretty difficult here for Finest to keep themselves in business and in check in round 19. And of course, if it goes the way of ECSTATIC, then maybe, just maybe, they can exploit the opportunity and take this 2-0. But it is, of course, the B play. Flash is set, smokes are out, and they are going for the push. Nade goes over the top. Is there big damage? Yes, look at the bars of HP. It's all little bits, but they all add up. Zello now could find a couple of headshots right through that smoke. There's the first bird from Sky, a second Kriaz's trade, but it's a Deagle alongside the remaining rifles. The Shockstars get the bomb set down. A 4-on-3 retake required.
That's what matters. The bomb going down at least gives them some stability in the economy. Not that shot from Kriaz, though. Flash are going to fall. And a 3 versus 2, this becomes a little bit more uncomfortable, or so I say. Manx delivering on towards the AWP, and Kriaz all alone. Finds one full blind, but that's all he will find. As the quick trade comes through, maybe a little bit more expensive than ECSTATIC would have wanted, but around nonetheless is what matters. 12-7, deficit down to only 5. It's starting to get a bit more manageable now.
Yeah, Finest, I think, are going to be a little bit scared of this ECSTATIC form, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a timeout come from it. They are on an eco as well, so they could use the time effectively just to talk about what's happening in the next buy. They do opt for the 30-second breather, though. And, I mean, I'm not against it, Neil. I think, you know, when you are only 5 rounds up this T side, it very quickly slips between your fingertips. So you definitely have to be on your A game. This round here is just an eco for them. The next round is the buy, and where the magic happens, right? You've really got to see Finest taking the next full buy. Otherwise, ECSTATIC, with said momentum, with said form, they could absolutely run away with this game and make this a 2-0. And not to forget, if you've only just joined us and, you know, you aren't one of the people that have listened to us say this 1,000 times, this is an elimination matchup. The loser of this does not get the invite back to ESL Challenger League and has to play through relegation, which means another, what, 4 or 5 BO3s to confirm their place back here, maximum, in the Season 42 of ESL Challenger League. It's worrying times, man. Whoever loses this matchup, looking like Finest right now, really got to get a shift in and make sure they aren't the team to drop down and have to suffer the consequences of a very brutal double elimination bracket.
Well, it's an interesting time, and I think it's still definitely up in the air, because what was looking like it was kind of Finest running away with this map number 2 in a way that we probably didn't really expect too much. It's now looking the other way. Not a shot, though, from Annika's. Oh, that's quick. That is lightning fast, but in exactly the same fashion, Fasher finds a double as it brings it down to a 4 versus 2 now. And these pistols, and just for maybe a little bit more economical damage, but that's about it.
Picking apart these players, man. The HP bars fading away. Nade damage doing bits and bobs. ECSTATIC themselves just finding kills and no trades in the way of Finest. As I said earlier, it's just the eco, right? So there's every opportunity. And Narquez, man. He's so just the brain on this guy.
Yeah.
It's just like bigger than his head or something. I don't know what to say. And it's a second kill for an Narquez. And a third with the AWP. Surely not like this. As it could be an ace here for Narquez. The Israeli man, the big dog for Finest, might have just found an ace into this round. It's a 1-on-1. Bird from Sky against him. And as the flash drops in, Narquez to take phase, Narquez to look for the shot, and Narquez is a beast! He cannot be stopped on the server right now. The disrespect in check as Finest win an eco, and it's a 1D pre-fire into 3 with the AWP. And that shivers down the spine of ECSTATIC. Lights out Counter-Strike for Finest. And it's the big man Narquez, his 20th kill and his 11th death. But Finest up to 13.
Another situation for ECSTATIC where that should never happen. I mean, you know, credit where credit's due for Annika's, who has been one of, if not the best player in this series in terms of consistency. Another fantastic showing from him. All 5 kills, brilliant. Did not miss for a second. Knew exactly what he was doing. But for ECSTATIC, when you have the numbers in your favor, you've either got to set up the crossfires and play passive, or just overwhelm the Orba. They know exactly what they're coming against. He can only shoot once. Just don't line up. I mean, it's so simple in theory, but the execution not there once again. And another round for Finest where potentially and realistically it shouldn't have gone their way.
Nah. It's a shame, honestly. It really is a shame. Heading into this round. Disappointing, to say the least, here, that ECSTATIC lose out on something like this, and they suffer the consequences for it. Really are going to be struggling. And, well, right now, that is beautiful. Plessen, headshot found, Finest 5 on 4.
Zella 5 on 3. I mean, for Zella and Fascia falling with the limited weaponry they've got to work with, you should chalk this up to a 14 for Finest. And then, I guess you could say, you know, Ryan, we were kind of making the conversation about a map number 3, and I think it's becoming a little bit more relevant now. It was kind of just testing the waters of that conversation, and now it's becoming a stark reality for ECSTATIC on a map which just really hasn't been their strong point. I mean, even getting to double digits seems like a tall order from them.
It's looking like a 14th here for Finest, and it might just be the chapter shut in this BO3 for Ancient, and the decider looking likely. I don't believe what we're witnessing, man. How on earth did I lose that previous? I don't know, and the spiral effect for it. They take the force, they take the gamble, it doesn't pay off, and what could be a force buy in their next will be a weak one, and possibly their last. 14 on the board looking likely here for Finest, and a save more or less cements that. Dafu and Manx looking to keep the MP9s, but it's nothing like the AKs and the AWP brought forward for Finest. It is dire times here for ECSTATIC. Their map pick landing very, very flat-footed. And as I said just a moment ago, it isn't like Ancient is a possibility anymore for ECSTATIC. Their pick backfiring, and all of a sudden, that decider, the fine margin, means that Vertigo could be up next.
Yeah, I mean, double the rounds of their opponent, only 2 needed to push on towards Vertigo or decider. What to play for. We mentioned this could be a 3-map series, and wow, it's looking exactly like that right now, because ECSTATIC has not been comfortable on their map pick. They have struggled, and just stark reality to Overpass, another map in which statistically they're not too great on in previous kind of the last 3 months, but it's really not been great, has it? 10-14, and you look at the buy for ECSTATIC, realistically it should be a 15th here for Finest.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say? This has been beautiful from Finest, by the way. Let's not deduct from how well their T-side has been. The calling, which I do believe is from Twist, if I'm not mistaken, has been bliss, man. You cannot fault the Finest side for how well they've been playing and how well they've been performing. And as I double check, it is, I can only believe Twist is the, or I don't know, it might be an Arquez, right, if I'm not mistaken. I look like a bit of an idiot, but I'll fact check. Anyway, by the looks of things, GoTV dying again can only mean one thing. Not only is it a 15th on the board for Finest, it's another lost round for ECSTATIC. Manx, he'll pick up 1. And, well, it's looking very unlikely here. Fascia, he'll find 1. Plessen and Arquez. Plessen once more. And this is very done and dusted. 15 on the board, and I can only guess it's going to be 16 up next, because this has been, I mean, what a game. What a time, man. I don't know what to say. Finest have just been lights out.
They have, and I think all the credit to them as well, because they came into map number 2 with a lot of pressure on their shoulders, and they've delivered. They've thrived under this pressure, and again, you look towards the individual stepping up, and that's where you have to highlight Anarchist, but of course, especially Koreas. 25 kills to his name. He's been phenomenal. Max to go aggressive in towards middle, but he pays the price for it. Plessen and Shocks, one apiece, and I think it's now just the do or die as the cannon fodder rounds and seconds to Finest cleaning up this one. And a 1 versus 5. Bird from Sky, the IGL has to deliver a flawless round, and Finest pushes 2